Hello and welcome back to Mainly Menswear. My name is Dwayne McLeod and I'm certainly glad that you're here. Today I'm going to be wrapping up a little series on the Belvedere Waistcoat. In the previous videos, the first one I redesigned the welt pocket a little bit. In the second one we redid the neck facing and sort of started to assemble the waistcoat in a different way. Today we're actually going to finish this project off, and I have actually finished my waistcoat, and I gotta say I am so happy with how this has all turned out. The welt pockets I redesigned so that the slant of the pocket sort of echoes the slant of the bottom of the waistcoat. All of the understitching has helped keep all of the facings in place. I've added a little back belt so that it can be cinched in. I think that's always a nice touch. My fabrics, the boiled wool is from Metro Textiles. You never know what you're going to find there, but you can find some absolutely amazing things. And the lining fabric is this gorgeous jacquard from where else but Gorgeous Fabrics. And I love that I was able to use both sides of this. And I knew when I saw it on her website that it would be perfect for this waistcoat. So really all it needs is buttons and buttonholes, but I've run out of thread. And I don't know why I continue to buy those little spools. Even on a small project like this, it always takes more thread than you think it's going to take. So I need to go to the store and buy some thread today and finish this off. So for those of you that have followed along, I thank you. And let's just jump into the video and complete this project. Well, the moment of truth has finally arrived, and I guess I'll find out whether or not this whole exercise has been a fool's errand. What I need to do now is reach inside through the side, and we are going to be pulling the fronts through that opening. And admittedly, this is a pretty narrow space, but the bagged instructions have one pull the whole entire vest out through a similar narrow opening. So I'm hoping that this will be successful. So I am just going to, I think, very gently start trying to pull this through. And when I'm done, I will be back and hopefully report success. So wish me luck. A quick progress report. I'm happy to report that I was able to bring the vest front through the opening. And my method, and one that seems to work, is that I took the front section and sort of made it into a little tube. And that sort of helped facilitate this going through the rather narrow shoulder seam. So that's just a technique that seemed to work for me. Success. This was actually very easy to do, and I'm really pleased with the result. Now I just need to take this to the ironing board and press all of the seams into shape. I think that all of the understitching that's been done will help me in that process. And granted, I will have to do more hand stitching once we close up the side seam here, but I think that the result, even from what I can see here, is, in my estimation, so much better than the results that I have received bagging the lining on previous makes. When I started this video, I thought it was just going to be a couple of little helpful hints, and it's almost turned into a full-scale sew along at this point. But I think that's what happens when you're sewing way off script, which is what I'm doing here. So I just thought I would tell you what I'm up to now, and congratulations if you have been hanging in this long. Anyway, I have trimmed my interfacing out of the seam allowance here because I used a hair canvas and it's impossible to press it. So you need to clip it out of the seam allowances if you're going to use that. So it's time to sew up the side seams. My suggestion is that you pin the linings out of your way here. You want to get those out because you don't want to catch them. Then you can bring your right sides together, and I will just stitch this at 5/8 of an inch as usual. You might be wondering what this little thing is. I have gone ahead and added a belt to the back of my waistcoat. On the website of Thread Theory, they have a belt option that strikes me as just very, very fiddly. They have a very short belt which they insert into the darts when they're sewn, and that dart is only 1/4 of an inch. So I just think that that's super fiddly sewing, and it's not anything that I enjoy doing. So I refer back to my tailoring textbook, and I think this is another way to do a belt in which it goes all the way across the back, and it can be top stitched around at the sides, or my method, I just run a stitch right along the dart to secure both parts, and it's always worked for me. And I just think having a belt on the back and being able to cinch it so that it fits better is a wise thing. So I'm going to go ahead and sew up the side seams, and then we'll just talk about how to finish it off on the inside. I'll try not to belabor this part of the process very much. I know this has been a long video. What I've done here, I've referred back to my tailoring text. I've done a cross stitch along this edge of the lining into my hair canvas, and that's a way to just sort of anchor this side of the lining into the garment. I have chalk marked 5/8 of an inch away from the edge, and now all that remains is folding in the front lining to meet that line. I will most likely baste this into place before I fell stitch it. And if you recall, I added a little bit of extra width to this piece of lining, and I think it was beneficial. I just hate to get to the end of the project and not have enough fabric. It's always a lot easier to trim excess fabric away than to wish that you had more. So in closing, I just want to say that this is by far the best Belvedere waistcoat I have made. I've made 3 so far, and this one is by far the best. So all that remains for me to do is put the buttonholes in, which I will do with my Singer 301, and put the buttons on, and this will be ready to wear. I hope that this very long video will be helpful to any of you that are making the Belvedere waistcoat, or any of you that have made this pattern and struggled with it, because there is no need to struggle. I do believe that there are easier ways to make this garment, which is, in my case, a really valuable part of my wardrobe. So in closing, I just want to wish you all happy sewing. Please be safe, and I will talk with you later. Bye-bye.